Hello everyone, Maro here. Welcome to this video where I talk a lot. I've been meaning to do a video like this since I've started this channel, because this is kind of a WriterTube, AuthorTube kind of channel, mixed with horror, video essays, and narrations. So let's get started with the Authortube newbie tag questions.
How did you find out about Authortube?
I believe it was around early or mid 2020 when I found a video along the lines of, I write like famous author for a day. That video is by Kate Kavanaugh. I think the author she was writing like was either Stephen King or R.L. Stine.
What genres do you write in?
I mostly tend to write romance and horror. I have been thinking about like dipping my toes into sci-fi or fantasy, but horror will always be my bread and butter, because scaring people is fun and it can be very cathartic.
What is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? Children's, YA, MA, adult, etc.
In terms of tense, I'm pretty bad at flip-flopping between past and present tense. As for point of view, I really enjoy third person because you do get to follow along with the characters and you also get to hear their thoughts. As for category of story, I tend to prefer writing adult.
Are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser?
Sometimes. It really does depend. I've tried plotting a few stories here and there, but most of the time I just kind of plop down whatever words are in my head and call it a day. I have a random scene, dialogue, whatever concept, and my immediate thought is, how can I write this?
Are you self-published, published, or yet to be published?
I am yet to be published. I'm hoping to start posting chapters of my current web novel project, hopefully in October of this year.
What publishing company, literary agent, and/or printing company are you represented by or use? If you are not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and/or literary agent?
I'm not sure. I don't really know much about agencies, printing, or publishing companies to know which one I would go with.
What Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel?
I've made a few simple-ish videos. One video where I talk about how I started writing, and another video about how an aromantic, which is someone who feels little to no romantic attraction, writes romance. Most of the Authortube related content on my channel will be about my writing, how I write characters, how I plan out my stories, my likes and dislikes about writing in general. Would video essays count?
When did you start writing?
I started writing when I was very tiny, and I think like maybe 4 or 5 years old. My handwriting was terrible as a kid, so I'm not really sure if I did much writing, but rather I daydreamed a lot of cool things and like worlds that I wanted to be in. I technically didn't start writing more seriously until I got into creepypasta at around age 13, and also learning about Edgar Allan Poe in my 8th grade English class. I wanted to be a horror author so badly at 13, but I mostly wrote self-insert creepypasta fanfiction in notebooks that no longer exist.
What was the first story you ever wrote?
I wrote a poem of sorts back in like 2nd or 3rd grade about a vampire falling in love with a lady. I think I called it Love at First Bite. Was it well written? Probably not, but I still remember it fondly. That's probably one of the earliest moments where I was a monster lover, and how that would affect the stories I write.
What authors have inspired your writing the most?
A lot of different creepypasta writers, whoever wrote the story for Ocarina of Time, and Edgar Allan Poe.
Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you can find the time?
I mostly write whenever I'm struck with inspiration and have something to write on. I do end up setting timers so that I don't write less or just write for way too long without breaks. I have been thinking about setting up a quote-unquote proper writing time for myself and maybe filming it. I usually wake up at around 7 a.m., so I can probably start writing at around 8 a.m.
Do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general?
I mostly use my desktop to write on. When I want to change the scenery and hate sitting on my butt all day, I move out to the living room and either write in a notebook or use my iPad's Bluetooth keyboard case. I would say that it was a very good $20-ish spent on a very old cracked iPad mini 2. Also, I have so many notebooks and I'm trying to dedicate certain notebooks for certain stories and novels.
What are you most looking forward to now that you are a part of Authortube?
I'm looking forward to making more videos about my writing process and how my web novel ideas are going. And that's pretty much it for the Authortube questions. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye everyone!